Behind the scenes, you guys know as well as I do that those executives like Spielberg are looking at that saying, Rachel Zegler can F right off.
Zegler also faced blowback after posting Free Palestine. The note is from Israel and served in the Israeli army.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Aggressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of 7 dwarves living in a cave. What the are you doing, man?
You're replacing jobs that people could have as little people. Okay. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs, it's 4 dwarfs, you know?
This is really a bad movie, and I apologize to Walt Disney himself. I'm sorry.
Imagine being the lead in a $270 million Disney movie meant to be a bold, modern reimagining of a fairy tale classic, only to sit in a near-empty theater watching it crash and burn in real time. That's exactly what happened to Rachel Zegler. This isn't just another Hollywood flop. It's a masterclass in how a film with sky-high expectations, A-list casting, and global recognition can still nosedive straight into scandal, controversy, and complete audience rejection. We're talking viral backlash, political firestorms, internal studio chaos, and friendships turned into feuds. From behind-the-scenes drama with co-star Gal Gadot to Zegler's unapologetic social media rants, and even Disney themselves scrambling to salvage the wreckage, this isn't just about a bad movie, it's a full-blown PR nightmare. And you won't believe how deep the mess really goes. But before we dive into how things started unraveling, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're into deep dives like this. We break down the biggest stories in entertainment, no fluff, just facts, receipts, and a bit of chaos. And trust me, the drama behind Snow White goes way deeper than bad ticket sales. Because when Rachel Zegler said people would line up for her movies, she didn't expect the only ones in line to be her critics. It all began on March 25, 2025, when Rachel Zegler and a few loyal friends decided to see Snow White on the big screen. You'd think a major Disney release would pack theaters, but according to Instagram stories, it looked more like a dress rehearsal for a ghost town. Ilda, one of Zegler's friends, tried to hype the moment by cheering when Rachel's name popped up on screen. The response? Awkward echoes bouncing off rows of empty seats, souvenir popcorn buckets, looking more like sad props than celebratory merch. That's never a good sign for any film, let alone a $270 million production. Even Discount Tuesday, a day known for luring in casual moviegoers, couldn't rescue these numbers. The movie limped into theaters with just $3.5 million from Thursday previews and finished its opening weekend at a pitiful $43 million. To put that into perspective, Disney's The Little Mermaid live-action remake dove in with a $95 million debut, more than doubling Snow White's numbers. Suddenly, the phrase box office bomb felt like an understatement. People on social media started posting near-empty seating charts, almost competing to see who could find the most deserted theater. One viral tweet even joked about launching a GoFundMe to help Disney cover the looming financial crater. But the drama doesn't stop at failing ticket sales. No, Snow White's meltdown came with a side of piping hot tea. An old video clip resurfaced, showing Zegler bragging that people would wait in line to see her future projects. Talk about inviting the trolls in. The internet lit up with sarcastic commentary, with one user quipping, "Well, at least the lines for the bathroom are short this time." Ian Miles Chong fanned the flames by reposting the clip on X, formerly Twitter, dubbing Snow White one of Disney's biggest fiascos in decades. Even critics who usually mince words seemed to relish calling it a disaster. Behind closed doors, Snow White was apparently a battleground of corporate fear and celebrity clashes. According to leaks reported by Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, Disney executives had been uneasy about Rachel Zegler's knack for stirring up controversy. From trash-talking the original 1937 film as weird to calling Prince Charming a stalker, she wasn't exactly winning over the classic Disney fanbase. XX worried she might alienate loyal Disney diehards before the remake even hit screens, but they hesitated to muzzle their lead actress. Perhaps they were aiming for an edgy rebranding or modern spin. Instead, they got a raging public relations nightmare. Things escalated quickly when Zegler took the stage at Disney's D23 event. Instead of delivering the usual starry-eyed excitement about breathing new life into a beloved fairy tale, she threw in an unexpected political statement. Sources say the higher-ups at Disney nearly spit out their popcorn. Their once bright, innovative lead had just turned a family-friendly panel into a political hornet's nest. Any illusions that Snow White might sidestep controversy evaporated on the spot. Damage control became the new priority, and hush-hush meetings piled up with Disney brass scrambling to figure out how to keep the film afloat amidst intensifying public backlash. Enter Jonah Platt, son of Snow White producer Mark Platt, who decided to speak his mind on Instagram in a now-deleted post. He didn't mince words, pinning the film's lackluster performance on Zegler's polarizing takes. If you believe industry chatter, Mark Platt himself hopped on a plane to personally scold Zegler for letting her personal politics overshadow the movie's promotion. All of this might sound extreme until you remember this is a $270 million gamble from Disney. When you're burning through that kind of cash, you want your star to help sell tickets, not chase the audience away with controversial soundbites and social media spats. But wait, there's more. Gal Gadot, cast as the evil queen, went from being a promotional co-lead to seemingly a co-star in a soap opera, one rife with subtle digs and rumored beef. Early on, you'd see photos of Gadot and Zegler hugging on set, laughing and praising each other. But that harmony cracked right before the Oscars. The duo presented together, yet viewers picked up on tension. Zegler later responded to a fan comment by calling Gadot a professional pageant queen, which many interpreted as a backhanded insult. Sure, it might just be a teasing nickname, unless there's a stack of unresolved friction waiting to explode. Then came the geopolitical firestorm. Gadot, an Israeli who served in the Israel Defense Forces, was put in the crosshairs when Zegler posted messages in support of Palestine on her social media. Given Gadot's background, these posts triggered intense backlash and serious threats aimed at her. Disney had to heighten Gadot's security measures, a move that speaks volumes about how volatile the situation became. According to insiders, Zegler did not fully realize the global and personal implications of her posts, inadvertently turning what should have been a routine press tour into a swirling vortex of controversy. And just when the tension couldn't get thicker, Zegler took another political swing by posting, "May Trump supporters never know peace." Regardless of anyone's stance, that's a surefire way to alienate a huge chunk of potential moviegoers. Disney executives, already on edge, went into full meltdown mode. They'd invested an astronomical budget on this project before marketing. Now, their star's remarks were basically telling a large demographic to stay far away. Producer Mark Platt tried one last diplomatic approach, flying out to meet Zegler in person, urging her to keep her political commentary off the grid until after release. Eventually, she agreed to work with a Disney-paid social media consultant. But by then, the damage was glaringly obvious. Speaking of controversy, let's not forget the casting uproar. Zegler, a Latina actress, wasn't the typical image of fair-skinned Snow White. While many applauded Disney's diverse pick, others lobbed hateful comments her way, insisting the story demanded a pale princess. Zegler fired back, declaring she wasn't about to bleach her skin to appease critics. She even went as far as calling them losers obsessed with cartoon bloodline purity. Sure, it's bold, but it also threw more fuel on an already blazing bonfire of opinions. Online battles erupted over whether Disney was championing progressiveness or undermining a classic. And then there was the original Snow White storyline itself. In a 2022 interview, Zegler slammed the 1937 film for romanticizing a prince who literally stalks her. She called it weird and claimed they definitely weren't doing that this time. Some diehard fans felt she was insulting a classic that laid the foundation for Disney's entire animation empire. Comments asking, "If you hate the story so much, why star in it?" multiplied overnight. While modernizing a fairy tale might be a logical approach, Zegler's brash wording sparked more outrage than intrigue. That's still not the end. Peter Dinklage, known for his no-nonsense takes, blasted Disney for what he saw as their double standard. The studio cast a Latina Snow White to showcase diversity, yet retained a backward story about 7 dwarfs living in a cave. He labeled it hypocritical on Mark Maron's WTF podcast, igniting another uproar. Disney scrambled, claiming they'd be consulting with members of the dwarfism community. The end result? CGI dwarfs. And not the charming, stylized dwarfs we remember from animation, but photorealistic placeholders that left fans creeped out more than enchanted. Critics asked if Disney had just replaced potential acting jobs for dwarf performers with digital illusions in the name of being progressive. Finally, the cherry on top of this chaotic Sunday, the Snow White premiere, which might as well have been an undercover mission. Instead of rolling out the lavish Hollywood red carpet with star-studded fanfare, Disney opted for a hush-hush daytime screening at the legendary El Capitan Theater. The European premiere fared no better, quietly slipping into a northern Spanish castle, far from the typical glitzy London event. It was less look at our groundbreaking film, and more let's hope no one notices if it fails. For a project once touted as a bold reimagining of an iconic tale, that's a colossal shift in tone, basically acknowledging the avalanche of negative press and the potential for further backlash. By the time the box office tallies came in, no one was shocked that Snow White had face planted. Social media turned it into a public spectacle, with critics branding it the downfall of Disney's live-action remakes. Fans speculated whether Disney had lost its magic or if the film's controversies had simply overshadowed everything else. Was it poor timing, flawed storytelling, or just too much drama for a family-friendly brand to handle? Maybe a potent mix of all three. One thing's clear, this fiasco has become a cautionary tale on how quickly a massive project can spiral when cast members and studio execs aren't on the same page, and when social media storms aren't addressed promptly. Yet, despite the catastrophic performance, Disney still has some defenders. A handful of fans argue the film could find a second life on streaming platforms. Others say the controversies overshadowed Zegler's talent, insisting she was just speaking her mind in an era where celebrities are expected to be real and authentic. But with reported production and marketing costs nearing $300 million, that's not exactly comforting news for shareholders. And let's be honest, the moment your star's presence does more harm than good, the writing's on the wall. So, where does Snow White go from here? Likely straight to Disney Plus with minimal fanfare. Meanwhile, the brand is left to grapple with the fallout. Will they rethink their remake strategy? Possibly. Will they rein in their star's social media presence moving forward? Almost certainly. The fiasco is a glaring wake-up call, reminding studios that all the big budgets and big names in the world can't save a film plagued by relentless controversies, especially when those controversies take center stage over the narrative itself. So, there you have it. Empty theaters, backstage blow-ups, political firestorms, and CGI dwarfs. Disney's Snow White didn't just bomb, it rewrote the definition of disaster. But what do you think? PR nightmare, or just a case of bad timing? Let us know in the comments. And if you want the full breakdown on Hollywood's most chaotic headlines, hit that sub button and stay locked in. Because the drama? Oh, it's just getting started.